I'm doing quite good. Wasn't expecting to be here, but I'm happy because you know what? It's always a great time to cast some playoff matches. It's always a pleasure to be here to be able to get to watch some of these teams, especially now that we've gotten. I think we've have is every league played through their first round matchups.
I believe if not, they're doing it tonight as well. So we'll have to check on the scores for all of those later on tonight.
Yeah. So correct me if I'm wrong. Is this second round, right? Or are we doing
This
first
is
round
the
for?
first round, yes.
First round. Okay. Cool. 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 But yeah, I'm definitely excited. Seeing the Scorpions and the Wolves. I actually got to cast the Scorpions, I believe, in one of their last two matches of the regular season, and yeah, they were starting to look really good. So I'm very excited, definitely, to see how they will perform here in this best of seven.
We are running a little bit behind due to some updating issues on the side of the Wolves, but I don't want to delay anything any further, so let's get right into this game. Alrighty. On the side of the Wolves, we have Batman, Flip Cruel, and Izzy, who I believe was not originally um, planning on playing tonight, as Chiefs was supposed to be, but his game is still updating. And
Hmm.
on the side of Scorpions, we have Maniac, Clebly, and Juan Salsa.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate there, but hopefully they can get their starter back. It's just going to be an early goal here. Batman SPG. Uh, I don't know how, but just finds the slot into the bottom corner.
Yeah, just a little bit of an unlucky 50 there from Clebly on the near post, went directly middle, right to Batman, who snuck that in on the near post. But any thoughts coming into this game? Any preferences to who you want to win or who you think is going to win?
Hmm. Um, I definitely am a bit. I do like the Scorpions. I've seen, I think, a bit more of them. If I'm going off anything, I've seen more of their play. Um, and I definitely think they're a very solid team. So I expect them to come out strong here. But I'm willing to be surprised here by the Wolves because I haven't seen a lot of play from them. I haven't been able to cast their matches. I haven't been able to keep up with how they've been doing. So obviously, with them coming out here with the first goal, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing if they can keep up this momentum and try and extend their lead a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. And I did my preseason bracket predictions for playoffs, and the Wolves were on that roster. And Scorpions are going to answer back here, but the Wolves were on that roster for playoffs, and the Scorpions are on my radar. So I'm really pleased to see them coming in here and making a difference, and at least putting in some effort here to get back this one goal.
Yeah, and that demo, just a super nice play to clear out the net. Maniac, he doesn't got to do a lot there. It's a very simple play, but that's what works. Using your teammates and getting yourself an advantage on the offensive end to get that goal, and ties up the scoring here. It's going to put the Wolves in a much better spot, as they did get that first goal scored against them. But now that we're all tied up here with 3:49 left on the clock, still, I think a lot of unanswered questions about how these two teams are really going to approach this matchup. Because so far, it's just been back and forth, really.
I have to agree. And Izzy Gravy is going to keep this one in the side of the Scorpions as Maniac goes for a 50 to clear it, goes off the corner. Back cleared away back to Maniac, who will look to get it off the wall. Batman will follow this ball, looking for a possible air dribble ceiling shot here. Gets neither, and so the ball drops in the middle with no team to really answer that ball immediately. Juan Salsa, what a shot there, and a demo from Clebly is going to leave that net wide open.
And I'm telling you, man, these demos right now are just doing so much work. It's great to see. I mean, just Cobley getting involved. That's absolutely what you want out of him. He recognizes, listen, there's nothing that I can really do to aid this play. I'm not going to be getting a pass. Juan Salsa has all the control of the ball, just hunts down the defender in net, gets that second goal. And right now, the Scorpions, I think, definitely bringing out the play that we wanted to see from them, and so far had themselves the one-goal lead.
And I'd like to remind everybody watching and tuning in today that playoffs are a best of 7, not a best of 5, as normal regular season matches are. So I'm really looking forward to all the adjustments that each team will make as the series progresses and teams go either down or up. And Clebly, go ahead. Sorry, I know you want to say something. No? Okay.
Yeah, best of 7 brings a lot more, I think, variance in strategy, is what we'll see. You're going to see a lot of changes. Teams are going to make adaptations, and that's really the biggest difference, is that between a best of 7 and a best of 5. while they are very similar, you're going to have a lot more time to kind of feel it out, and you're going to see those teams that do have, you know, the better mentality, that have the better ability to adjust and to make the necessary changes. Those are the ones that are really going to succeed, and you'll see some teams that might start off strong, but eventually just start to, you know, start to fall off towards the end of the series because they get maybe a little bit tired.
And hopefully that is not the case for the Scorpions here, as they are up 2-1 in this game. Batman look for a clear, get demoed again by Juan Salsa. The demos are killer, as you mentioned earlier. Flip looking to take this one up the wall. Pass back to Batman, who gets a really large banger, possibility of a bump here on the other side of the field. Does not come off, but it still disrupts the offense, or defense rather. And now Izzy is on the back end. Near post, shot off the post as well. Shot off the post yet again. Izzy looking for a 50 here. Just a complete beat on the ball instead. Flip gets a 50 at the mid, rolling still in the area. Izzy needs to get a good clear here, and they do. To Batman, who will pinch it. The shot is on target. Juan Salsa, nothing too much for him as that ball is cleared away. That bounce is dangerous though. Batman taking this one across the field. Izzy will take it a little more slow. Gets a pinch to the opposite corner. Still following up, gets a demo. Batman backwards. It's a nice 50. Flip cool, not able to get above that ball for a solid touch, and now bumping his own teammate. Ball off the wall. Flip looking for some sort of ground pinch here. We'll get it. And a great pass there. Batman unable to challenge it too early as Collegiate came across the field.
Yeah, and so far, you know, definitely I think a lot of good ideas coming up from the Wolves, but unfortunately, they just really haven't been able to turn any of them into really solid opportunities just yet. You're seeing the infield passes come through. You're seeing those, you know, the plays off the wall. They're really trying to get control of this ball, and they're doing a good job of applying midfield pressure. The only issue is right now, it's just that those follow-up shots, you know, we're seeing Flip Cruel wasn't able to get the best touch on his. Izzy Gravy came through and just couldn't find a convincing shot. I think twice in a row there where they had a really nice position, they just couldn't beat the last defender. And for the Wolves right now, it's just coming down to those individual touches for them, because all the ideas are there. All the plays, I think, are exactly what they need to try and go for. It's just that their individual touches right now are not good enough. And the Scorpions, all credit to them, have this 1-goal lead, and they have played out some really great defense, really great midfield pressure for the past minute and a half. And that's going to lead them, I think, to a Game 1 victory unless this ball is somehow kept in the air. A nice tap up from Izzy Gravy. Gets it across down the field, but it should drop to the ground. The Scorpions pick up Game 1.
Yeah, and I think what you said had a lot of value to it. The touches from the Wolves, in my opinion, need to be a little more proactive and less reactive in terms of the defensive positioning of the Scorpions, because the defensive positioning from the Scorpions right now is so good. They're just always there, and these touches, these small touches the Wolves are trying to go for, is just getting eaten up every time by the Scorpions defense. What they need to do is get a pass, touch that defender, and, you know, attempt to make something happen with the second or third challenge.
Yeah, and, you know, I think we saw mostly Izzy Gravy was having a lot of trouble with that, where had a great position, had a great pass off a teammate, but just unfortunately, I just don't think the first touch was what they necessarily wanted. And that even comes down more to even 1v1 skills, you know, those types of individual mechanics. Usually, you know, that's not something that we really, I think, focus on for players, because unless you have a team that is built around one player, you know, being completely insane, cracked on the sticks, as they say, you know, that isn't going to be the biggest factor to impacting if you win or lose, especially in something like AA, AAA, you know, major. That isn't going to have the biggest impact unless you're, you know, really doing poorly. But I think here for the Wolves, you know, again, it wasn't the biggest factor. It was just that they weren't getting good enough individual touches to put themselves in a spot to score off of some situations that weren't perfect, but were good enough they could have had an opportunity off of it.
Yeah, and we are having a guest appearance right now from Chiefs RL, who is spectating this game. He might be able to come in either, you know, next game or some other game in the future, depending on how this first or second game here shakes out. And Clubly will clear this one to the side, leaving it for Juan Salsa, who gets a challenge. So much space now in the middle with the first shot on target. Clubly pivots it wide. Juan Salsa settling the ball down. Now, a lot of space to work with yet again. The Wolves are giving them a lot of offensive and defensive space all around the field.
Yeah, I mean, they really sagging off with the third man, which isn't necessarily bad, but unfortunately they're first 2 men on the challenges just haven't been the best, haven't been the strongest. And usually that is Flip Cruel and Batman SPG who are going up. Just not finding the most comfortable 50-50s to put them in a good spot. Meanwhile, Scorpions here on these counterattacks doing a good job. They're buying their time. A miss there doesn't necessarily work out as Flip Cruel will get a touch off the sidewall. But again, awkward touches here from your first 2 players. And it means that the third man is awkward to come through. A few bumps and a bit of a messy affair. It will work out as Batman looking for the pop up. Juan Salsa, though, in position. Can't find the save, but Clubly will bail him out as extremely messy play here. And I think, you know, the Scorpions being a bit surprised as well and caught off guard by it, but they managed to get it all under order. They managed to find the saves. Wolves, though, applying a ton of pressure right now, just trying to force this ball through, despite how disorganized it may be. Just still, though, not able to find that finishing touch.
Yeah, and that messy and disorganized offense might actually work out in favor of the Wolves, considering how organized the Scorpions' defense is. It might catch them completely off guard with these missed touches or, you know, slightly wide shots going off the backboard. It's creating a lot of opportunities for them. Granted, they're not super promising, but, you know, as they continue to acknowledge these opportunities that are happening and, you know, expect them a little more often, things can really change.
Almost half the game gone as 2 minutes and 45 seconds on the clock, and I'm not sure what Izzy Gravy was doing there. It felt like he was in a good position, but maybe was just caught a bit too far up and decided, hey, I'm just going to turn around and try and get the clear, or the touch off the clear from the opponents. And again, some really nice positions here. This should be the shot, but Flip Cruel just misses the read, and Batman SPG was not expecting for his touch to be the one heading on net. It was way too weak, and you know, we're starting to see a few more issues coming in here for the Wolves. We're starting to see a bit of communication errors, and when they finally do get a good shot, there's Juan Salsa to find the save. And as you said, the Scorpions positioning, you know, in that last game, I don't think it was the most incredible thing. It was obviously very good, but here, they're finding the saves. They're constantly in position for all this pressure, and even when it starts to get messy, even when it's unorganized, they just know where they need to be, and they're finding the touches they need to get.
Yeah, and that's great all around for them, but, you know, it's about the momentum here, and there's a lot of just back and forth at the moment. Granted, there are, you know, the Wolves have like 30 seconds of offense, so the Scorpions have 30 seconds of offense, but they're not doing much with that offense. They're instead kind of just pressuring the side of the field and waiting for a mistake, but that mistake for either team is not really coming out that often, so I'm not seeing too many shots on target for either team right now.
Yeah, I mean, the Wolves have had a majority of the pressure this game, sitting at a total of 6 shots to the Scorpions 2. But I think the Scorpions have been a lot more willing to take their time. They've been a lot more willing to look for the passes, to wait for the demo plays. They're not forcing anything out, and I think that's just because they're comfortable, and that's great to see. You know, they're very confident in their ability to score. So they're taking their time with this. They're not going to rush anything, and they're just waiting for the perfect opportunity, which that was. But Maniac had no boost, couldn't find the angle, so the bump does not work out as another infield pass is just off the target from Batman SPG. Izzy Gravy trying to keep on this pressure, but there's not a lot of boost for the Wolves, and not the best touch here will allow for a free clear for the Scorpions. Oh, that touch!
Wow. I was going to say, that's one thing we didn't see much of in Game 2 is the demos, and that one demo leads to that great shot from Juan Salsa, puts it top right-hand corner. Really beautifully done.
Yeah, I mean, I was concerned about that first touch that he had. It felt like a defender could really easily challenge it, but he was given enough time. He got back to it, and he just found the top corner. An incredible volley. Doesn't even touch the ground. Manages to put it through as the Wolves still feeling a bit disorganized, and now they're down 1 goal with 30 seconds left. Juan's also looking for another dunk, but Izzy Gravy will be there. And for the Wolves, you know, you need to get something through now. You need to find that shot. You need to find that goal, and if you can't, you're going to be down 0-2 in a best-of-7, which isn't the worst spot. It's, you know, in a best-of-5, of course, that's when we'd start to worry, but it's a best-of-7. They have a bit more time to work with. But you just have to, that's, you know, it's getting to the point where you have to start worrying as Maniac does deny that one and will hit the ground. And the Scorpions, again, with a 1-goal victory.
I'm getting deja vu from when, you know, coronavirus wasn't a thing. And when a soccer coach used to tell me, like, it's not just about attacking, it's about attacking with a purpose. And I think the Wolves really need that memo right now. They're putting on that pressure, and it's good pressure, but they're not, you know, trying to get something out of it. They need to either get a shot on target or get a center. They're kind of like stuck in between the idea of the two of them right now, and nothing's come out of their offensive pressure.
Yeah, and you can definitely tell when you look at how they're playing their offense. Izzy Gravy is going to be subbed out here for Chiefs, but a lot of the touches, when they do find an infield pass, it looks threatening for sure. I mean, even if it's off target, you can tell that the killer instinct is there, and they do find some good shots, but they just weren't doing it often enough. It didn't feel like they were. It wasn't their first option. It was kind of like an afterthought that they would have, like, oh yeah, I should go for an infield pass off this play because we haven't been doing a lot of that, and it just leads to, um, to a lot of opportunities going awry, and it leads to the offense not looking the cleanest that it can. So you have to hope for the Wolves that they can clean that up, because right now the Scorpions, they're just playing good Rocket League. I mean, they're not rushing anything. They're waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike. They're finding demos. They're finding, strong clears, and their defensive positioning right now is just as good as they want it to be.
Yeah, and I'm hoping to see some sort of adjustment from the Wolves, whether that's on defense to be more proactive with their touches going out, or on offense to have a little more purpose with their touches. Either way, something needs to change with how they're hitting the ball and their morale about doing it.
Flip Curl gets into the midfield, but Chiefs was a little bit far back. He will have control of this off the ceiling, though. A nice touch, has the boost, can't get the second, though. 9 boost. It was enough to try and get something done with that. It probably wouldn't have resulted in a goal, but could have gone to the midfield. That's 2 bumps. Chiefs should have the shot, but it's just off. Juan Salsa misses his touch, but we'll get back around for the 50-50. Is Maniac going to keep this one out? A nice air dribble. Finds the follow at 50, and right now, again, the Wolves just applying a ton of pressure early off in this game, but so far it hasn't resulted in any shot finding its way in. They're low on boost, but they're finding the clears, they're finding the 50-50s, and they've bought themselves enough time where they can start to feel a bit more comfortable.
Yeah, and I think the chemistry with the Wolves, with Chiefs on the roster, is going to be a lot, greater overall. So hopefully that is a positive roster change, and they might not have to make another one later on down the road. But on top of that, Chiefs is kind of a powerhouse independent in my opinion. We were thinking about picking him up, but he got snatched really early on by what is now the Wolves. So, I'm hoping that, maybe this is the Wolves star player that you're talking about earlier. This might be the leading force of the Wolves, and it'll help them out.
Yeah, you really do have to hope that they can get something done with this, because they need it. Going down 0-3 is definitely not the situation you want to be in. You want to be comfortable. You want to get to that 2-1 as Gubley almost finds that shot. A bit of a little heart palpitation there. Low boost on the side of everybody for the Wolves. But as they get this offense going, again, Batman, SPG. I mean, they had 3 players up there, but no shot comes out of it. It's just Batman dribbling it straight towards the defense, and now Maniac has to rush back. This one should be on target. He takes the wrong line, just flips to the outside, and the Wolves, I think, get a rather anticlimactic first goal there.
This is the first time the Wolves... Actually, no. It's not the first time the Wolves have been up. It's the first time the Wolves have been up in mid to late game. So we'll have to see if their playstyle adjusts a little bit to be a little more defensive. Because, offensive, right? Awesome. Oh my God, English. On the offensive side of things right now, they're not looking super consistent. But on defense, they're looking pretty good. So if they can hold out and play more in the midfield in their own end rather than, the offensive end, things can, stay in favor of them right now.
Yeah, and the nice thing is with all the pressure they've been applying, it has caused some issues for the Scorpions. We've started to see a few double commits. We've started to see them make a few of those smaller errors that they were really, really clean on in the past 2 games. Again, it has resulted in them in having the first goal, but they're just sagging off so much. Maniac had the entire net to shoot at and placed it high. That was really an opportunity there to just tie this up, but still, Scorpion's going to start applying pressure, and now that they're not, on the back foot, now that they're not low on boost for a majority of the playtime, you do have to look for these plays and see what they can get going. Although, it just a bit awkward, it feels like, the pace having slowed down quite a substantial bit as soon as that first goal found its way in.
And that's not a bad thing at all for the Wolves, at least. The Scorpions, however, need to speed things up yet again to play in that similar game of 1 and 2 style if they want to score up that goal and, get 2 before overtime hits, if it even does.
Yeah, they're kind of falling into that trap of, letting your opponent control the pace of the game when they're ahead, even though you need to make the comeback. Right now, they're doing a lot of good things, though. They're looking for these shots. They're just placing them a bit too high. they're definitely having plenty of opportunities. Just the accuracy not where they need it to be to try and get in those just power shots to the top corner. Once also does a good job to get it by 1. Can't find it by Chiefs, though, who's just finding incredible 50s left and right. And as this weak clear comes out, Scorpion's still struggling just to find an equalizer as Batman finally gets a dribble by 2. This should be fairly open, but Clubly will get back to it once also with the clear. They're going to have maybe one more shot at the most for the Scorpions to try and get this game tied up, but this waterfall could be dangerous. Flip Cruel doesn't read it right. But more midfield touches coming out from the Wolves and just not letting the Scorpions out of their half. They don't even want a chance for this game to be tied up. The shot just high. Clubly has space to work with here, but just pops it up for no reason. Could have taken control of that ball. Could have tried to do something with it, and now a shot will go in on the other end. A rush touch while his teammates are out of boost, and Chiefs will seal away game number 3.
Yeah, and if the Wolves continue to play how they have been playing in the last 2 minutes or so, I can see them completely dominating the series and completely turning it around. I mean, it was a crossbar shot after post shot after backboard shot. The Scorpions are kind of floundering all over the place, and they need to be a little bit more organized if they want to stop this constant pressure.
Yeah, they kind of got caught off at the start there, and then never really, it seemed like, got back into the flow of things. Which is a bit strange because it definitely felt like even in game 2 when pressure came out, they did perfectly fine in handling it, but I think Chiefs coming through, just really good consecutive 50-50s, got a ton of great touches. Kind of threw the Scorpions off. Now 2-1 in the scoreline. Still a long ways to go in this series. Yeah, and then this is kind of where we see the back and forth, where you're going to be having teams that are, you know, it's kind of like an ebb and flow. One team makes adjustments, they maybe win a game, the other team makes adjustments, and then has to respond to their opponents. And it will go like that until one team really finds what works and the other team can't find a response in time before the series does end up being over. So as we head to game 4, you do have to hope for the Scorpions that they can get themselves a bit calmed down, because you can definitely see a bit of the nerves there in that game through. We saw some double commits, we saw some rush touches that they weren't, that I think were pretty much completely absent in the first 2 games.
And I feel like this might be in a relation to like school. The semester was ending, right? The work was piling up, got a little too much for you. But now the new semester's starting and things might turn around for you, or you can just start failing classes immediately, as Batman will put that one in.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good touch here, and Clubly, I don't think he was the one that should have challenged that. I mean, Maniac, sure, he had to turn around, but he still could have gotten a challenge on it. Still had a much better position than Clubly coming all the way from net while Maniac couldn't get back to it. And just a bit of miscommunication there means that shot finds its way in. Juan Salsa has been striking really well for the Scorpions, but misses an open net there off the kickoff. And that's going to be a chance, an easy chance at a tie-up gone awry.
Yeah, and Juan Salsa might be biting himself or kicking himself. That's the metaphor I was looking for. After this game that they end up losing by 1 goal. But we'll have to see if that happens. I mean, the Scorpions definitely looking a little bit more proactive in this game already in the first 40 seconds than they did in the entirety of game 3. So some positive changes definitely being made in the background, but will they actually appear in the foreground? We'll have to find out.
Clubly doesn't find the best 50-50 off of it, and again, the Scorpions kind of being kept into their own half, but finally Juan Salsa gets a great touch. Will manage to clear this one out, get it onto the opposing backboard. That's a miss, and Maniac almost dunks it through. Clubly trying to keep on the pressure, but ends up just kicking it over to Batman SPG. Some good defense there from the Wolves, and again, the Scorpions starting to rush these touches, starting to rush these shots, where before they were taking their time, you know, they were looking for a demo, waiting until they really had a secured, pretty much open net. They're now really trying to force these through, and just, again, they're hitting the crossbar. They're barely missing high or wide. And that was kind of the issue that we saw with the Wolves in the previous games.
What a shot there from Clubly. And I think that's partially because the Wolves sped things up themselves. It made the Scorpions look slower, made them look slower to touches and 50-50s. But now they're trying to pick things up again. They're equaling the pace of the Wolves that they upped just 2 games ago. Now it's a real game 4.
Tied up, they finally find the goal. The entirety of the Wolves out of boost. This drop down is good, but again, Clubly just barely misses it. Well, had the right idea. The infield cut was nice. The shot a tiny bit off, and the Scorpions, we're starting to see a bit of that, that deadly shooting and passing and teamwork that we really saw in those first 2 games, but it's right back down the other way. Batman SPG, he might have missed his first few attempts, but he finally lands it into the bottom corner off the dish from Chiefs.
Yeah, the shots are 6-3 in the favor of the Scorpions right now, but it's more about quality and less about quantity. I mean, granted, the Scorpions had 2 open nets they could have scored, but the Wolves made the most of their opportunities and created open nets out of what was originally a defended net, and ended up scoring and leading them this series, or game.
Well, Clubly gonna tie it up right away is just off the kickoff here. Once Salsa gets a killer touch off the ceiling, Clubly is there, and no one in net with an immediate challenge means that it's pretty much a free option for the shooter where he wants to place it, manages to get it around every single player, or every single defender.
I apologize, I'm not sure what's happening on stream right now. It looks like some player names have been switched to 1 or 2. Might have been just a glitch. No, I have no clue what's happening.
Yeah, I think I've seen that happen before. It's weird. I know that Rock League does do that sometimes. It is a glitch though, and it shows them as their player number that they are in the lobby, I think. I'm not sure. As Flip Cruel gonna find this goal off of a really nice pass. 2 players diving for the save. Neither of them can find it. But yeah, don't worry. We'll let you guys know what players are actually scoring. We'll tell you their names, even if you can't see it on stream. So it should be easy enough to keep track of what's going on. But 3-2 right now for the Wolves. They find, again, another passing play, and I think this is kind of what we want to see from both teams. We want to see them apply equal pressure. We want to see them both use their teammates and really get the teamwork involved to find these goals, and now we're seeing that. Now we're seeing both sides going for infield passes, where the demos from the Scorpions have been kind of cut out, but Clubly, as I say that, does immediately get another one. So I'd like to see them start to implement more of those, but both teams really starting to play well now, and as this shot finds its way in, 4-2 for the Wolves, it's looking like they might just try and tie up this series.
Really a great response from the Wolves. I just see them taking this game and tying up the series 2-2. But after the fact, I'm not sure. We might see a slight burnout here as the series score is tied. On the other hand, we might see them just completely plow through with this newfound momentum that Chiefs brought onto the team. We'll have to find out.
2 goals is not an insurmountable lead. It's definitely possible as Clubly gets a nice touch, but the save will come out. And Maniac, the third man, just never challenges the ball. It's kicked all the way downfield. He has to get a pretty clutch save there. Never a situation that you really want to be in. Wants also chasing this down. Can't find the force through the last defender. And right now, the Wolves just playing good defense, finding the touches where they need them. The Chiefs just locking down the midfield challenges. It's really allowing Flip Cruel to, I think, get the touches that we expected from him. And Batman SPG, who was rather silent in those first 2 games, it really looked like he was struggling now, has come alive in this game at the least. 4 saves for him. Found himself 2 goals. Just hooking up with his teammates, finding the shots off the passes, and being in position is now looking for another one. Almost slams it through. And while it doesn't go in, what it's doing is killing time. There's a little less than 40 seconds left on this clock, and it's still a 2-goal lead.
Yeah, I'm not seeing much on the side of Scorpions right now. It's all kind of a Wolves-dominated game, and rightfully so, as Batman, as you said, stepped up to the plate and really took charge. This might completely switch around next game. Who really knows? But, the Wolves, again, doing such a great job keeping the ball in the midfield, or the other person's has. But as I say that, a great shot there by Clubly.
Chiefs gonna find this one out, and with the 10-second countdown, that is going to be game number 4 in the books. 2-2, we're all tied up, and I think both teams have had their chance to show off what they can do. I think the Wolves now definitely in the form that we expected from them. And it's really up to the Scorpions to respond, because you could tell, after those first 2 games, they were feeling pretty confident. And then Chiefs came in and kind of gave them a body check, said, no, you're not going to find consistent clears. I am going to be there. I'm going to find these 50-50s and these challenges. And yeah, the last 2 games have been pretty convincing from the Wolves, now tied up 2-2. What do you think we're going to see?
I mean, the ball really is in the Scorpions' court right now. It's just a matter of how hard they hit the ball back, if they even do. I played tennis, right? The shot here from the Wolves, it's not a lob by any means. It's a really, really hard, fast-paced ball. And the Scorpions have been on their heels for quite some time now, 2 games. They need to get their feet on the ground, and they need to start hitting back if they want to come back in the series.
Yeah, I mean, I really feel like the demos were kind of cut out for no reason. It was working very well, and of course they were going for it when they were on the offense and they had boost, but even defensive demos can be extremely good for your team. They can just clear up so much space to find a clear, and I think, we saw the Scorpions implement 1 in that entire game. I feel like you can go for more. We saw One Salsa going for demos. We saw Maniac clearing out the net. We saw Club League getting involved. They were all being very physical, and that was what was really giving them the time to get boost and to get their momentum going. And I would love to see them to try to do that again. Even when you're on defense, try and do it again as Club League gonna start it off for the Scorpions, finds the first goal off the kickoff, and what a beauty it is.
And I think what you said is a really good point, because it seems to me that Scorpion's specialty is kind of those demo plays, and why stray away from what works? Go for what you know is best, especially in an unfamiliar territory such as playoffs, where things are kind of shifted around all over the place in terms of what teams are playing and their skill levels. Do what makes you comfortable. And right now, they need to go for those more demo plays, unless you're Club League, in which case, just freestyle, apparently.
As Maniac is this one. Off the crossbar. He's been banging quite a few of these shots, but Flip Cruel just gonna get to this one before every other player and finds the goal. 2 players committed up and no one back in net.
Yeah. They need to settle down a little bit more on defense. You have a series lead. There's no need to overcommit. There's no need to put 2 players up. Put 1 up, keep 2 back. You never want to be in that situation where it's a 1-on-2 or no. That was a little scary. You never want to be in the situation where it's a 1-on-2 or even a 2-on-1 where you can get scored on. When you're up, you want to create as little opportunities like that as you possibly can.
Yeah, a bit of an open net miss there, but I don't think it doesn't hurt too much. Of course, the Wolves would love to have that, as it was wide open, no defender there. Right now, a minute in, and just tied up 1-1. Both these teams playing this out very, very cautiously when it comes to the offense. We're seeing, the Scorpions, as you said, it would be nicer to see them play the second man back a bit further, because you can still go for demos with that second man back, as that shot just barely not going to go in. Juan Salsa will finish it off by himself. 2-1 now for the Scorpions, and, just for this play, the Wolves, no boost, weren't able to really get any good clears on defense.
And Juan is probably saucing with joy after being able to put that one in, as both Wolves players are kind of stuck on their own back line, not really able to do anything other than just kind of hope for the best. Interesting.
Huh.
I don't think we need to talk about that one. I think we can just kind of skip over it and sum it up with "we take those."
Well, you see, the thing is, it's been a reoccurring issue here for the Scorpions in the past 3 games or so, that they have had miscommunication on the defensive end. The shot should have been in, but Juan Salsa just didn't put enough power on it. Was trying to get it in, trying to find the angle, so much so that he neglected the actual shot quality. And as much as it probably shouldn't be, the game is tied up 2-2. Wolves getting 2, I think, kind of freebies. They were gifted their way back into this game when it felt like the Scorpions had a really good start. But the Scorpions just mistakes. that's the only way to put it, just straight up mistakes. Miscommunication there on the last play where Juan Salsa originally thinks that he can go for it, but then realizes that it's better for his teammate. But at the same time, it seemed like he had already called Maniac off, and Maniac didn't have the time to turn back around. Juan Salsa up for this one. Going to see what he can do off the backboard. I'd like to see that one maybe placed a little bit higher so he could have tried for a double tap. Those mechanical plays, I said it before, it's the mechanics. It's not something that's going to win you a game. It's not something that makes a team, especially at the independent level. But those are, the kind of the plays that I think you want to and need to see from a few of these players to really step out ahead of the opposition.
Mechanics are never going to be that step. They're just going to be a larger stride in the end. So if you just get the rotation down and take it step by step, those steps as you start rotating are going to grow larger because your mechanics are going to be built into your gameplay. And right now, Clebly is one of those players that have or attempt to take those long strides, but don't take as many steps as some other players that rotate strongly, like Maniac or Kaho. And we're seeing those two kind of playstyles really contradict each other in terms of the two teams here. What a flick that was from Batman.
I mean, Chiefs did most of the work on this. Gets the initial 50-50, finds the cut around 1, and then Batman just gets credited for the little tap down there off the crossbar. But a wonderful play from Chiefs. Makes it all happen. Finds the goal pretty much. Wolves up 3-2 now. And yeah, right now it's the Wolves that are making those plays. It's the Wolves that are going for those aggressive solo plays. They're looking for the opportunities. Chiefs, that's a situation where you can either just, bang the ball towards the net, or you can do what he did, take control, know that you have time and go for that dribble play. And he managed to do it, finds the goal for his team, gets them ahead now with 1:30 left on the clock. And the Scorpions, once again, they're on the back foot as they have been for the last 3 games.
Yeah. And another opportunity there from the Wolves, just barely missed, but yet another one coming in. Chiefs. I feel like the Scorpions are kind of putting themselves in some awkward situations right now. They're clearing the ball a little too wide, and it's just always bouncing directly back in for some Wolves player to finish up on it. They need to be a little more wary of where they are touching the ball to really get that offensive counterattack that they need right now to come back in this game.
40 seconds left. Still, Scorpions just getting stuck into their own half. They're not able to do a lot to find these clears, and it's surprising because they have more shots. They've had plenty of pressure, but they've just, I think, just their accuracy so far has been, it's been slowly getting worse and worse, and you will see that over the course of the game for teams. They might start off really hot, but as the fatigue grows, as another team makes changes and closes that distance, it'll start to set in. They'll start to make more mistakes. They'll feel a little bit less confident. And for the Scorpions, I think that's pretty apparent. They're not going for as aggressive plays as we saw. They're not really putting themselves out there to try and get themselves a lead. And compared to the Wolves, who are now, they're saying, hey, listen, we just had that 0-2 comeback. We're tied up. Listen, we can really apply pressure here. And you can see the confidence in their play. It's a world of a difference. And the Wolves take game number 5, 3 in a row to put themselves onto match point.
And the Wolves being down 2-0 in the series early on really had nothing to live for if they didn't want to throw everything at it. And they threw everything at the Scorpions. They came back now 3-0 in the last 3 games played in the series, taking the series lead. And the Scorpions need to start doing the same thing. They need to start throwing themselves at the Wolves. The Stingers, it has venom. It'll sink in. Sorry, I don't know why I said that. But, it's just about changing the play style to be a little more aggressive, and while at the same time sticking to what you are best at, which is your demo plays. Combine the two, and you have a gift of a play style, which will work great against the Wolves.
Scorpions. It felt like there at the start that they had made the right changes, but then just they let in 2 free goals. I think that's all there is to say about that game. Is that they had the advantage. It looked like they were off on a good start, and they just let in 2 silly mistakes to their play that you really shouldn't be. And that resulted in the Wolves getting back into the game, having some confidence in it, and then being able to transition that into a goal with about 1:30 left to put them ahead. And now they're on match point. The Wolves, I think, at least for me, a team that I didn't expect to come out here and necessarily win. They could definitely make close. I felt like the Scorpions had definitely, for me at least, a better shot here. But right now, they are looking like the worst team. It feels like the Wolves have everything going for them after bringing in Chiefs, who, you said he's a bit of a hard carry. And what I think is really nice about his playstyle is that he isn't like a direct carry. He doesn't do insane shots. He doesn't, have these incredible, of course he's good, but he doesn't have incredibly insane mechanics that put him ahead. He just makes plays that allow his teammates to really do what they want to.
I think along with that, he has a really proactive mentality. that gives a lot of mental clarity and space for all of his players, and his comms are also super great. So they're super aware of the space that they are creating and also the space that is given to them by the Scorpions defense.
Right now, the first minute not going to start off with any early goals, but the Scorpions on the back foot as they've been kept into their own half for just a little bit of time so far. The touches not able to be as consistent as they would probably like. A lot of time given here for Maniac. Will get it around one. Should be able to find the touch, but Chiefs gets there first, and Clubly has to turn to the side. Right now, the Scorpions, you know, they were the ones that were up 2-0. They were the team that was saying, listen, we can go up 3-0. We can be in a sweet position. They were comfortable, but now they're the ones that are fighting for their lives. They're the ones that need to win this game, or they are eliminated from playoffs. And it's all down to how they handle that pressure, because so far, for 3 games in a row, they have not been able to stay consistent with their play. They have not been able to find the aggression that they had in those first 2 games. And it has come back to bite them pretty much as hard as it can.
Yeah. You know, it's about biting back at this point. I mean, you're bleeding. You're dying. But can you... That's really graphic. Can you kill the other thing first? Is the question. It looks like that's not happening right now.
Okay, we'll ignore the very needlessly gory explanation there, as Chiefs teams up with Batman, finds multiple consecutive touches off the backboard. The defense is floundering, and the shot finally finds its way through for the Wolves, up 1-0 when they are on match point. This is the start that they wanted, and now it's just even more pressure onto the Scorpions. You know, you already had the fact that they were being less aggressive in the series, and that the Wolves were finding better 50-50s, but now you also have the mental pressure of knowing that you're on match point and you're down in game number 6. I mean, this is a situation that a lot of teams, you know, have trouble fighting back from. I know, like, from experience, from someone who's played in this situation, this is where it's actually the hardest, where you have to try and force the game 7, where you have to try and get yourself in, you know, you have to try and play your best Rocket League when you don't have any momentum, when you don't have any, you know, anything to really get you going. This is possibly one of the worst spots the Scorpions could be in, but if there's any team that can do it, you have to look here. You have to look at Clubly. You have to look at Juan Salsa. They've been making plays. You got to look for those demos. You know, you got to see them clamp down here in these last 2 minutes to get it going. The bump in net, and that's what I'm talking about. But Juan Salsa, the shot is just off.
I think his Salsa on the inside died a little bit. Had to miss that open net, unfortunately. I don't think he'll ever be the same.
I mean, that was it. That was everything that you want. And just an open net whiff. The shot was open, and now, to add insult to injury, Flip Cruel finds the shot off an amazing touch from Chiefs. And the Wolves up 2-0 on match point, looking like they are going to advance into the semifinals.
I hate to say it, but I do think this game and series is kind of over at this point. I do not see anything with the score. Okay, I'm going to shut up.
Well, Juan Salsa making up for his miss. You know, still not in the best situation that you would want to be. Still down 1 goal, but they find the kickoff goal. The last man challenging, probably a bit too aggressive. And he needs to be there from Flip Cruel. And there's still 1 minute and 35 seconds on this clock. It is still possible for the Scorpions. And if you force a game 7 from here, if you get that tie-up goal, if you send this to overtime and manage to win it, that is all the momentum that you need in order to win a series. But it all requires them finding this next goal, as a miss from the defender opens it up, and Clubly slots through the equalizer.
And you mentioned the momentum that they'd have going into game 7. But what if they take that game 7 and they keep the momentum going further into the semifinals? I mean, that's a great mentality to have, saying, oh, you know, things are looking so grim for us. We weren't going to make it. And then having that fighting story to come out on top, it's going to get them through the semifinals. It's going to give them the whole new idea that we can come back from whatever situation. And it's going to really benefit them if they do make it that far in the playoffs.
The Wolves getting a bit lax in the final 2 minutes, but Flip Cruel, oh, what a touch from him. Gets it all the way downfield, and Batman just dunks it through. The Wolves, it felt like, They might be singing their swan song for game number 6, having been ahead, but they find one more. They're not going to go down without a fight, and the Scorpions, they need to have that one last push to try and tie this game up and get it into an overtime.
Yeah, and that was a little unfortunate of an own goal there. Looking like now that the Deja Ren for the Scorpions is not going to come true, and that things might end here in their playoff career.
A miss there from Chiefs. Well, now Maniacs get a free clear. They have 37 seconds and a miss from Flip Cruel as well. 2 players up. Juan Salsa puts it on target, but the save comes through. The follow-up, though, from Clubly. 2 players commit up for the Wolves, and they're, the mistakes are coming through. The touches are not the best. The Scorpions tied up. 30 seconds left. It's still anyone's game.
I'm just going to say it. The Wolves are getting a little bit sloppy. Maybe a little bit too overconfident, maybe a little egotistical. Either way, things need to be cleaned up. Get the mop, not the broom, because it's 32. But get the mop and start cleaning, because you have some maintenance to do right now.
There still is a chance for a last-second goal. There still is a chance for some last-minute heroics from any of these players. And right now, a great clear downfield. Clubly is up, leaves it for Juan Salsa. The shot is not as good as he would probably want. The follow-up, though, from Maniac off the backboard will be kept away. Overtime game number 6. This is it for the Scorpions. You give this overtime all that you have. You send everything forward to try and win this game, because if you don't, that is it for your playoff run. Flip Cruel gets the flick over one. Clubly finds the save. Juan Salsa will be able to keep with this one. No early goal going in. But still more pressure coming out from the Wolves. This one dropping down. Clubly finds another save, and it's all the way downfield. The third man committed up. The Wolves. It felt like they had the game in the bag. But it's the Scorpions who come out on top and send us to game 7.
What did I tell you? The Wolves. You were up 2 goals, and then you had an overtime. What you don't want to do in either of the situations is to send your second, let alone your third man up in that last scenario, to the midfield or your offensive third. It's not going to benefit you. And in fact, it'll punish you if the other team can take advantage, as the Scorpions have done in this overtime.
Messy play from both sides. They definitely both teams made mistakes, but in the end, the Scorpions, as I said, that momentum, you needed Clubly to step up, and oh boy, did he do. Hat trick, 3 goals, Savior medal with 3 saves, 100% shooting. He comes alive there in the end. Juan Salsa had 8 shots, but it could only put away 1. The accuracy plaguing him a bit, but it doesn't matter.
I think Hero summed it up nicely in chat. Ain't no way. Ain't no way we are going to a game 7. Certainly unexpected. I mean, we thought after game 2, this is going to be a sweep. At least I did. And then after game 3, I was like, okay, no ways are going to a game 7. And here we are, a game 7.
This is it. This is everything. The Wolves, they fought back. It felt like they had everything going for them. And suddenly, it's taken away. It's stripped down. We're on even footing now. It's all to play for. 5 minutes of Rock League to decide which of these teams is going on to the semifinals. And oh boy, I was worried when this series first started after seeing those first 2 games. Then Chiefs came in, and I was like, oh, this is going to be really good. And then I got worried again because the Wolves were completely dominating. But this has turned out to be, I think, everything that we could have wanted. Both teams showing their steel, showing their grit. And there have been mistakes, there have been misplays, but that is what has made it exciting. That is what has made it for us to get to game 7. No team is perfect. And as we have these 5 minutes of Rock League to decide who will win, I mean, you're looking at these players, you're looking at Chiefs, you're looking at Clubly, you're looking at those leaders to get the scoring going, to find the opportunities, to find the plays. It's Batman. Gonna find this touch up, but no early goal coming out in the first minute just yet. Both teams searching, probing around, but rotations are good, and defensive positioning is perfectly fine. The demo, though, comes through. Flip Cruel gets Clubly out of the way. The flick, though, is saved away from Maniac, and now we're starting to see the Wolves here add in some demos of their own. Starting to get a bit physical, clear out the defense, and I think that is, again, absolutely in a Game 7. That is such a good recognition of the plays to make. Just get your opponents feeling a little bit antsy, not sure of their rotation.
And that's the second time we saw that in the past 60 seconds or so. And as you said, Game 7. The Scorpions got a little too comfortable in game number 6. But here we are, uncomfortable yet again, as FlipCool puts that one near post. No defender is able to rotate in where that ball is once also backed up into his own nest, not able to do much from that position.
Yeah, once Salsa had the right rotation back into net, but just continued backing up. Put himself out of positions. Or out of positions? Out of position. There was not multiple positions that he was in. He was in one, and it was the wrong one. As it allows for the shot to come through, Wolves find the opening goal, and, you know, so far, it has felt like the Wolves have been more dominant off their one when they open up the scoring, but it doesn't really matter if you have just no one back in your own half.
And I was going to say maybe, just maybe, with a 1-goal lead in Game 7, the Wolves will not push all 3 of their players up the field, but yet, here we are, and the net was wide open. I guess I just can't really expect anything anymore.
All respect to One Salsa, did get a great touch there to actually put it through as the bump being threatened. FlipCool just has to walk this one through. As I said, Chiefs, he is enabling his team to get work done. Maniac has to jump, and it is just rolled in right underneath him. The Wolves making the plays, just under 3 minutes to go, 2-1 now, and it's looking like we're going to enter into a bit of a brawl here in game number 7.
And after pushing all 3 players up yet again for that scoring possession play, let's settle down and let's not put all 3 of them up. I mean, granted, Wolves are pack animals, but all 3 of you do not need to go up the field. And for the Scorpions, all 3 of you probably do need to go up the field if you want to come back in this Game 7 series, because you have nothing to lose. You are down right now. Game 7, it's all aligned. It's playoffs. You need to score.
I mean, as you said, you know, it's like pack animals. It's okay to have 2 forward to weaken up the prey a little bit, you know, to get them really injured, but you need that one sitting back and waiting and biding their time in order to deal the finishing blow, in order to, you know, be there in case they get out. That's what that 3rd man is for. And if you haven't pushed up, you're pretty much saying that you need to go all out. And that was not the situation there for the Wolves, but they managed to come back. They managed to get the goal, and now they're looking like they want to take this Game 7. FlipCool, I mean, living up to his name. Just a brutal duck.
Yeah, it was, as Flip may say, cruel at the end of the day.
It was a cruel flip.
Wolves securing their lead. And, you know, nothing against it. They're not overcommitting right now. They're just scoring. And it is what it is for them. Scorpions needing to push more people up even further now with a 2-goal deficit.
Yeah, and that's how you want to play out this lead. You don't force anything through. You don't overcommit. You find goals when you're given them. That being said, 2 players committed up here, but FlipCool has time to get back to it. And right now, Scorpions struggling to get clears out. It's a 2-goal deficit that they're now fighting back from. Low boost on the side of the Wolves. This one will get into the midfield. FlipCool with just a straight-up miss, and One Salsa places away the 2nd goal for the Scorpions, getting them within 1.
Yeah, both Flip and Chiefs going for the boost, which was also the wrong boost for the both of them to go for. So, you know, they were caught in a really awkward position that they should not have ever been in, but they still have that 1-goal lead and are able to, you know, maintain some form of confidence here as they are still up.
1 goal to rule them all right now. There's a minute left in this game. And the Wolves, this is all that they have to hold on to. This is all that they have to work with, is just keep this 1-goal lead. Find a second if it is available, but don't overcommit. Don't send too many players forward as Club League gets an amazing 50-50. And Maniac is there to clean it up. All 3 players in net, and yet none of them get a good touch.
We have a game, ladies and gentlemen. Will we have an overtime game? Who knows? We might. Game 7 overtime? Possibly. A playoff Game 7 overtime? Possibly.
The Wolves have been ahead in the last 2 games. And both times they have managed to find a way to throw it away. The 4th goal not going to find its way. Just barely Batman SBG gets to it. That would have been a brutal goal to go in with 30 seconds left, but it is kept out. Scorpions are kept at bay, and now another shot threatened. A bump in net, but Maniac will find the save. Clubly now on the dribble, gets demoed for his trouble. Both of these teams going to search for the clutch goal to end it before overtime. They don't want to deal with that stress, but you can't be too aggressive. You can't commit too far up. A nice beat from Juan Salsa, gets it by 1, but Batman SPG will beat the touch. Maniac now trying to place it in, but it's just high. As this one onto the side wall. Up the waterfall, down, Juan Salsa! Can't get to it, and we have overtime in game number 7.
I got a little scared. I got a tiny... Wait, DC? Is there a DC from Juan Salsa? No way. This is unfortunate if it is. It might end like this too. Oh, this is not good. Juan Salsa is not moving. Might have a DNR on him because he is not resuscitating whatsoever at the moment.
Back.
Oh, he's back. We're okay.
Ooh. Worrying there for the Scorpions as that was almost a goal off the start as Juan Salsa. Maybe his controller disconnected or something, but wasn't able to get ready immediately. Clubly beats 2. Clubly over 1. Clubly!
Clip it. Ship it. I don't know what you want to do with that. It was a really good goal. I mean, got to pass 1 and 2 and then goes for the ground pinch. Was going to go off the post, and I'm not sure if his teammate was able to read that one. Either way, Scorpions, we got a winner.
Just plays everyone. 3 goals in the previous game. The overtime goal in game number 4. He makes it work. Gets the cut around one, the pop over the other, the up and under. And 50s it with the post to end it off. The Scorpions are going to advance in a 7-game series to the semifinals. And what a series that was.
Yeah, I'm kind of a little speechless after that, which is not necessarily a bad thing because we are running quite late for our a single A game, our single A playoff game between the Ravens and the Cougars. So we're going to take a quick break, but that series was really amazing. And I believe you were calling it a Night Titan, so thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Always subject to change, but yeah, we will be back with the Ravens and Cougars again. Another first round match here in the A-League. So ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. This is the RLPC playoffs, and we have one more match for you coming up right after this short break.